Today we're talking about how things are different now. Obviously things have changed, a lot of things have happened lately, and Ray Dalio, in case you don't know who that is, he's one of the biggest names in the game, especially for hedge fund management. Billions and billions of dollars to his name. He's right up there with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. If you don't know who he is, definitely look him up. That's Ray Dalio. So he did a TED Talk recently, and in his TED Talk he effectively said that we are at the start of, we're headed into a new Great Depression. Now, that is serious stuff to say something like that. Those words carry a lot of weight, and he's not the only one that's saying something like that. So if you have a business or a service that you provide, that you offer, that you sell, you have an offer that you bring to the market, then there are things that have changed now fundamentally to how you need to be approaching things. That's what we're going to be talking about today, how to sell your offer, how to sell in a recession selling. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Roy Haas. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, anything like that as we go along, be sure to leave a comment, and always super important, leave a like. My background, just in case you don't know who I am the head of sales for a couple of different marketing companies. I do consulting. I've done B2B sales, B2C, enterprise sales for over 13 years now. Done huge revenue that I've generated for the companies that I've worked for and continue to work for. I manage sales teams. I do high ticket sales myself. So that is my background, and that's what we cover on this channel. Especially now with the changing landscape and how things are different now, how to succeed in that environment. Right now, in the companies that I'm with, we are flooded with sales. So I want to impart that and show you how you can be doing that with your business, your sales as well. So with that, let's dive into it. See, the thing is that when you actually look at what is a recession, what is a downturn, really what that means is that people now, even more than before, are fearful. They need to be guided. They need to see the light. They need to understand things. They're going to be more careful, cautious. There's going to be a slower approach to things maybe. And if you have that confidence, you have evidence to back up your claims, then those kinds of businesses, those kinds of propositions, those kinds of that kind of positioning will allow you and your business to go much further ahead than other businesses that don't have that, which will invariably fall by the wayside. But that's really only part of it, because the other half of it is you really want to think about your offer and your position in the market. So I'll give you an example, and I'll tell you a little bit of a story. So I work in marketing, and we work with lots of different clients, everything from real estate, lenders, things tied to real estate, investors. There's solar companies, roofing, dentists, medical, tons of different niches. But the thing that you kind of notice is now more than ever, there are certain businesses that are doing well, depending on how they're approaching things, and certain businesses that are really struggling, or some that have unfortunately closed. And I don't want anyone watching this video to be one of those businesses. And if you already are and you want to recover, build something new, then this video is also for you. Fundamentally, what really is happening is that disposable income, or having that non-scarcity mindset and abundance mindset. So there's a difference. You have, on one hand, you have a scarcity mindset where you're worried about every dollar, and decisions that you're making are tied in with that scarcity mindset. Those will greatly affect how you approach your decision-making process, or how your clients are approaching their decision-making process. And really, if you can bring in and reintroduce the abundance mindset to them when you discuss things, to basically bring them to a point where they're comfortable with you, that's really important nowadays more than ever. So it used to be where you can do sort of more technical steps right? Where you could be more structured in your approach, and it was obvious that there was a formal approach to how you're doing your sale. But when you're talking to business owners, this isn't necessarily the case with enterprise companies, where the mindset is a little bit different. They don't necessarily have that scarcity mindset unless they're worried about their job and they're doing cuts, right? If they're cutting employees, they're firing en masse, then they will have that scarcity mindset, and this also applies. But if that's not the case with the company that you're dealing with, then this applies a little bit less. But for the most part, in most instances now, because of what's happening, you need to establish trust, you need to build rapport, and that's going to be much more important than it used to be. It was always important to a degree, but now much more so, because if they don't have that trust, they don't have that comfort, the likelihood of them moving forward with you, even if everything else logically makes sense, but they don't have a good feeling about it, they don't feel comfortable with the decision, now more than ever is likely to just kill your deal. So me personally, I'm not naturally, an extrovert. I'm a little bit introverted. But I do, after doing sales for so long and at such large scale and with so many different industries and types of clients and thousands of deals, you do learn things, and there are patterns. And what has become immediately obvious is that if I take a little bit of extra time to actually talk to them as a person, not as a business to a business, but as a person, and I pick up something, just maybe they have their location, or I notice something in their Facebook or their LinkedIn, they're a musician, or they have a European accent, or a South American accent, or a South African accent. Those are things that can spark a conversation. You have that you feel like you got to know each other a bit. It doesn't feel like just some person that they're talking to. You've actually created more, so it's not just some guy or some girl has called them, but there's actually a name attached to it, and they if they think of the name, there's actually a face. They can put sort of a face that they can imagine to your name, to your company. You are that mouthpiece when you talk to your clients. If you have no personality, you've not created any rapport, then you're very forgettable. And the next person that comes along that they feel they can trust and does do that, they're going to be more likely to go with them, even if the product is inferior. Which brings us to the second point, product offer. So the second point is that as far as your offer goes, it really needs to be on point. You don't have that flexibility or that margin like maybe you once had before. Now it's really about understanding what your clients want and listening really carefully. You need to listen to what your clients are saying, and it's not enough to just assume or make assumptions. You have to basically take the feedback that you're getting from them. If they're telling you no's, why are they telling you no? What is the reason? What is the real reason? And what would that look like if you were to create an offer where that no would become a yes? So if it's the price, well, okay, it's the price. Well, is it the price or is it a value? If you increase the value enough, will it be a yes then, or is it really just a problem of the people that you're targeting, the businesses that you're targeting just do not have that kind of money? Then you need to start thinking about ways to adjust that or offer something that is a ridiculous offer not to take. It'd just be crazy not to take the offer, but at the same time, it is within their budget, financially speaking. Sometimes you just don't have that flexibility, especially now. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. So you just either can meet them there or they can't. So even if they love you, but it just does not work financially, it's just not going to happen. So on the one hand, you have the whole element of the rapport, the trust, and the other is really understanding what your clients want, and at the same time making it actually realistic for them to get it from you and not going to somebody else because you're just not there. Now, if the type of people that you're talking to, they have, it's just not within budget, or they want to see what happens down the road, then it's probably going to be an issue with the pricing of your offer, most likely. Because think about it this way: if you have an apartment building, you have two apartment buildings, one has a waiting list and one of them has vacancies. Well, very likely, if they're very similar, then one of them has a higher rent, one of them has a lower rent. The one with the lower rent might have a waiting list, same exact apartment building, but the one with the vacancies just might be too high in price. So it might simply be dollar amount. And if you can make that work, then that might be something you need to be thinking about. I'm not saying go and cut your prices in 50% or something like that, but maybe change what you're actually offering, what you're giving them, repackage it. And then think about what the actual most profitable things that you have are, and then try to focus on that and how you can get them to that stage, or how you can cast a wider net, attract more people with an offer that is actually tangible and digestible for them, and in so doing, with that very large net, bring in clients that you really do want on the back end, the larger fish, the bigger fish. So that's sort of the two halves to it that you really need to be considering right now. So on the one hand, there's actually establishing that relationship, that trust, that emotional element, and then at the same time to also really understand what they're looking for and that it's a match, that you can actually bring that together. If you can do those two things, just those two things alone, then those will make a huge difference. Now we can dive into what that actually looks like, and that is what I cover in Recession Selling, among many, many other things. So those are some of the items that you want to kind of think about. The other element to it is that one of the other things that I want you to kind of think about is when you're talking to them, you can't just ignore the elephant in the room. Things have changed. You have this virus, you have the economy. Talk about it, don't just ignore it. If they bring it up, discuss it and then overcome. But don't just avoid bringing it up. If you don't bring that up, it's almost like you're ignoring what's actually happening. And they're not, so it also really important is to do a reality check and approach the elephant in the room, the danger, the risk head on. Do not just sit back and expect it. If you just ignore it, and especially if they bring it up and then you just pretend you didn't hear it or something like that, which I've seen happen a couple of times, don't do that. Bring it up, acknowledge that that's the situation, acknowledge what other clients are doing that are succeeding, your clients that are succeeding with what you're offering in this specific situation. So I'll give you an example. We have clients that are just crushing it right now with our marketing companies, with the marketing companies that I'm with, and we don't have enough people to handle some of the orders that we're getting for one of our companies, and that just really addresses what is going on right now. That you have to be ahead of the curve. You have to understand the situation, acknowledge the situation in your emails, your phone calls, your discussions, your videos. You need to acknowledge what's happening, and if you don't acknowledge it, it's like you're just not relevant. So make sure you're relevant. Okay, so to again recap, you have the rapport, the emotional connection, then you have adjusting, listening to your clients and adjusting or pivoting your offer, and then thirdly, I want you to actually think about how you're going to get to a point where they feel like, okay, you understand what's going on, your clients understand what's going on, and clients that you already have gone with you, they've already taken that risk or that contemplation, that that doubt that they might have when they're talking to you. So you can give them examples of, well, here's other clients that have doubted as well, just like you, in the exact circumstances that we're in right now, and they've succeeded. Here's a testimonial from a client that succeeded. We have clients that we are giving us testimonials. They're like, even with everything that's going on, I am doing amazingly well. And those are the kinds of things that you want to put out in front of your clients to inspire confidence that even with what's going on, and in fact, exactly with what's going on, we are seeing success. And more importantly, you and other clients like you can see success. So that's the short video. This is a series. There will be more videos to come. If you have any topics that you want me to cover, then by all means, we have a lot of things coming up. One of the next videos that I'll be doing, as requested by a subscriber, will have something to do with the actual way in which you're speaking. I think the exact request was tonality, so that is coming up shortly. So if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to do so. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like for the YouTube algorithm. If you found this helpful, then by all means share it, and I will see you in the next video.